They came to take a city. He answered with inventions no one had ever seen. And for a moment, just a moment, genius stopped an empire. Welcome back to Legends of War. Today, we enter one of the strangest, most stunning moments in military history, where the greatest military power in the ancient world was halted by mathematics. And before we begin, let me ask you, have you ever seen a moment in history where one mind changed the course of a war? If so, drop the example in the comments. I love reading them. Now let's go to Sicily, to a city under siege, and to the man who turned science into a weapon. The year is 214 BC. Rome and Carthage are locked in the brutal struggle of the Second Punic War. Hannibal is ravaging Italy. Rome is desperate for control of the Mediterranean. Syracuse, wealthy, strategic, fortified, and proud, sits in the center of it all like a jewel in the sea. When King Hero II, a longtime ally of Rome, dies, his successor, Hieronymus, shifts the city's loyalty toward Carthage. The Romans, humiliated and furious, declare that Syracuse must be brought back into the fold by force. Rome sends two seasoned commanders, Marcus Claudius Marcellus, the Sword of Rome, famed for his relentless nature, and Appius Claudius Pulcher, experienced, calculating, and cold. Both expect a swift conquest. What they get instead is Archimedes. Archimedes was not a soldier. He was not a general. He was not a man of war. He was a mathematician, an inventor, a philosopher, the man who gave the world the Archimedean screw, advanced geometry, principles of density and buoyancy, ideas far beyond his time. But now he was asked to do something else, save his city. And he agreed. It is here, at this moment, that history becomes legend. Marcellus's ships appear on the horizon, dozens of them. A forest of masts, sails swelling in the wind, iron-shod rams cutting the water. The sight alone is enough to make most cities surrender. But Syracuse does not panic. On the walls stand engines, strange machines, shapes of bronze and timber, contraptions that look more like puzzles than weapons, all designed by one man. Marcellus sees them and laughs. How could wooden arms and ropes threaten the might of Rome? He's about to learn. The Roman navy advances, shields raised. Marcellus orders the first wave to the walls. Suddenly, a massive wooden arm swings out from Syracuse's battlements. A giant iron grapple drops like a monster's claw from the sky. It slams into the deck of a Roman ship, bites into its timbers, and lifts the vessel out of the water like a child's toy. Soldiers scream, the ship's hull creaks, and then, boom, the claw releases. The warship crashes back into the sea, snaps in half, and sinks in seconds. Marcellus stares in disbelief. Another ship approaches, and another claw swings, then another and another. Roman ships are being plucked from the ocean and shattered like pottery. Marcellus said later, "Archimedes uses my ships to scoop water from the sea." It was the first time an empire felt fear from a mathematician, but the Romans could not approach by sea. Fine, then they would take the city by land. Appius Claudius begins moving siege towers toward the walls. Archimedes is waiting again. He has built a series of perfectly calibrated catapults of different sizes, some for long range, some for medium range, and some incredibly small ones just for close quarters defense. A storm of stones, darts, and bolts rains down with terrifying accuracy. Long-range siege engines, shattered. Approaching infantry, devastated. Any Roman unlucky enough to come close to the walls? Archimedes had built hidden scorpions, compact machines mounted behind narrow slits, allowing defenders to fire bolts without ever being seen. The Romans called it a forest of death. Even Marcellus, usually unshakable, whispers, "We are fighting not against men, but against the genius of Archimedes." Let me pause for a moment. If you're enjoying the story so far, and if you want more legendary moments where history takes an unexpected turn, consider subscribing to Legends of War. Now, back to the siege. It's about to get even stranger. As Roman ships tried to regroup, ancient sources describe something extraordinary. Rows of polished bronze shields, mirrors, or some reflective surface, all focusing sunlight onto the sails of Roman ships. Within moments, according to the accounts, flames began to spread. The Romans panicked, cutting their rigging, beating at the fire, jumping into the sea. Historians still debate it. Was it real? Was it exaggerated? Was it entirely symbolic? No one truly knows. But the ancient writers agree on one thing. The Romans believed Archimedes could set fire to ships with light itself. Whether myth or reality, it served its purpose. It terrified the invaders. Months pass. The Romans are humiliated. Marcellus, frustrated, orders the siege to continue, but at night only. He says, "We must take Syracuse when Archimedes sleeps." But the old man rarely slept. Legend says he would rise at any sound, rush to his machines, and unleash more devastation. Syracuse, with one man's mind, held off the greatest army in the Mediterranean. But even genius can't stop fate forever. In 212 BC, during a festival of Artemis, the Romans discover a weakness. The city's defenders are relaxed, celebrating. A Roman assault force scales an unguarded section of wall under cover of darkness. At dawn, they pour in through the gates. Syracuse, after resisting so long, finally falls. Marcellus orders his men to spare Archimedes, but war is chaos. Roman soldiers, looting the streets, burst into a courtyard where an old man is crouched in the sand, drawing diagrams, lost in calculation. He does not flee. He does not look up. He simply says, "Do not disturb my circles." The soldier does not recognize him. He thinks the old man is mocking him. And so Archimedes, the greatest mind of the ancient world, is struck down by a sword, unaware that the city around him has already been lost. When Marcellus learns of the killing, he is devastated. He had wanted to meet Archimedes, to honor him, maybe even bring him to Rome. Instead, he finds his corpse. He orders a proper burial. But the damage is done. The siege is over. Rome has won. Yet history remembers not the conquerors, but the man who held them off. The siege of Syracuse stands forever as a rare moment when raw intellect turned the tide of war. Archimedes did not believe in conquest. He did not seek glory. He simply used the talent he had, his mind, to defend his home. For nearly 2 years, he transformed physics into shields, geometry into bolts, mechanics into terror. Even centuries later, Roman generals told the story of Syracuse as a warning. Fear the city that has a thinker. And to this day, one thought remains. If Archimedes had lived longer, what else might he have created? What machine might he have built? What principles might he have discovered centuries before their time? What future might he have changed? If you enjoyed this story, let me know in the comments, which ancient genius should we cover next? And of course, if you love stories of battles, warriors, and extraordinary figures who shaped the world, subscribe to Legends of War for more historical epics. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, even an empire can tremble before a single mind.